Finally, Arcade1Up has pulled back the curtain on their long-rumored, often speculated on, Sega Outrun driving cabinet. Now this is available for order today exclusively through the Arcade1Up website direct. Now if you want to get this from a different retailer and you don't want to order it through Arcade1Up direct, that's fine. Other retailers will have this cabinet later on. However, if you want this exclusively for 2020 and you want it guaranteed before the end of the year, then the Arcade1Up website is the only way you can actually go about doing that. And I don't know about you, but $499 seems like a pretty good price point to me, mainly because we're getting all sorts of different configurations and peripherals that we've not seen on any Arcade1Up release to date. We're getting a steering wheel, we're getting racing pedals underneath inside the cabinet so you can actually extend your feet, put them down there, sit down on that bench seat comfortably. Now this bench seat is going to be the exact same bench seat and configuration that we've already seen on their previous release, Star Wars cabinet. However, there are some subtle differences to this cabinet itself. Mainly, it does have the iconic shape of the Sega Outrun stand-up cabinet. So you'll notice on this Outrun cabinet from Arcade1Up in this bench seat, we do have a different shape on the outside of the panels of the cabinet itself with the monitor and everything. Looks great in my opinion, and I think that was a great idea and decision on Arcade1Up's part to include that. You get 4 games on this cabinet. You get Outrun, you get Outrunners, you get Turbo Outrunner, and you get Powerdrift. And if you don't know about those games, well, you really should, but I'll cut you some slack and I'll give you a breakdown of what you need to know on these games. Outrun, of course, is a 3D driving game in which the player controls a Ferrari Testarossa Spider from a third-person rear perspective. The racing video game was released in arcades by Sega in September of 1986 and is known for pioneering hardware, graphics, non-linear gameplay, and a selectable soundtrack within its game. The camera is placed near the ground, simulating a Ferrari driver's position and limiting the player's view into the distance. The road curves, crests, and dips, which increases the challenge by obscuring upcoming obstacles such as traffic that the player must avoid. And funny enough, Sega never actually consulted Ferrari over the inclusion of the Testarossa in the game, and they would later have to meet in court several times because of this. Now it is assumed that a deal was reached because the car has never been modified or removed from any of these releases, and in fact Ferraris actually went on to officially sponsor several racing games, including Outrun 2. Turbo Outrun was released in 1989 and has players driving a Ferrari just like its predecessor, only this time it's a Ferrari F40. Players now traverse a set route across the entire continental United States from New York City to Los Angeles, instead of branching paths from the first game. In addition to a time limit, Turbo Outrun also adds a computer-controlled opponent driving a Porsche 959. The turbo in the title also plays a factor as players can now press a button to receive a brief turbo boost of speed. Various power-ups which increase the vehicle's attributes can also be chosen at various stages of the game. Outrunners was the third arcade release in the Outrun series. Outrunners found its way into arcades in 1992. After Turbo Outrun's departure from the Outrun's laid-back, charming atmosphere, fans were really wanting a game that captured the spirit of the original. Outrunners succeeded in doing this because it brought back the ability to take different paths through forks in the road, return to a lighthearted atmosphere, and distance itself from the very serious Turbo Outrun. Outrunners was also known for having some of the best looking graphics seen at the time thanks to creative sprite design and a very skillful use of parallax scrolling, similar to what was found in Powerdrift released 4 years earlier. Speaking of Powerdrift, this arcade classic was released in 1988 and is the fourth and final title included on this Arcade1Up machine. Powerdrift is a fast-moving, lap-based kart racing game in which players can choose to race on one of 5 different circuits, each made of 5 different stages. The game's tracks have a roller coaster feel to them with steep climbs, sudden drops, and tight chicanes, and it's also possible to fall from any of the higher raised sections of the track, sending the car crashing down to the ground below and losing valuable seconds. Each race takes place over 4 laps, and players must finish in 3rd place or better to progress to the next stage. Finishing lower than 3rd place results in a game over screen, but players can insert more coins to continue from that current stage. And that does it for today's information roundup. I'll put a product link down in the video description box below, that way you can go directly to the Arcade1Up website and order this if you so please. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this cabinet? Would you prefer it to be a stand-up cabinet? Would you prefer it to look and feel and sound and do all sorts of other things? Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful, and as always, thanks for watching, guys. Really means a lot.